Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yusrael. Welcome to the Tribble Timewarp, and welcome to the new Romulus system. Yes, this is what you get when you warp into Mol'Rihan. I suppose we ought to do them the courtesy of using the Rian suit title for it. There is a transwarp gate that will doubtless become functional later on as we upgrade our embassies. The planet itself is nice. It's a planet. I have to wonder at the solar storm that's going on, that's really hammering the magnetosphere. And the focus for today's video is going to be part of the planet itself, specifically the new embassy holding for fleets. Yes, it's not just the starbase we've got anymore. If you're bored with that, we now have a new little home from home to play around with, and an extra large transporter just in case you felt the need to bring a 20-foot tall crew member along. To quickly reprise, the holdings are accessed through this fleet window, as you would imagine. Starbase Tier 2, Embassy Tier 0. So we have various missions lined up. Recruitment facilities are underway. Remember that there are two tracks here. One is the diplomacy track, and the other is the recruitment track. Specifically, yes, we are hoovering up as many spare Romulans as couldn't get a job in what's left of the Romulan fleet. I have to suspect this means we're going to get the dregs, but you never know, some of them might be up to the mark. Now, leaving the transport room to the right, we have the front door, which is considerably more impressive from the outside. I have to assume that that is a placeholder portal of some kind, given the way it is A, sticking out from the wall like so, and B, doesn't actually fill the arch it's set into. Turbo lift to the various levels. Yes, again, we're missing textures. This is early work in progress. In fact, we're missing a large chunk of the wall there. Let's just let the doors close. I also have to wonder at the timing of this. Okay, so that's proximity trigger there. If I step away, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, yeah. Proximity trigger is perhaps a little far away. That's going to be constantly hissing open and shut every time somebody goes through it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the lobby. Pretty bare bones at the moment. Someone does need to tell the officer of the watch that just waving at those consoles doesn't work. I suspect either this is a weird little interaction of having random crew on the job as NPCs, or perhaps the desk needs to be raised about 6 inches just to make the animations line up. We have various functions dotted around this room. Obviously, this is a Tier 0 embassy, and need to say nothing works yet, so we have the exchange. A little further on, we have the mail, and if you haven't got enough exercise doing your commerce for the day, we have the bank. I dare say there will be various featured projects that will be used as resource sinks to pretty this room up. At least I sincerely hope so. Interesting reuse of assets. I'm sure I've seen that park bench before, but can't place it. Most of the corridors have got these force field-like things. You can actually walk straight through them. I assume they're meant to be privacy fields of some kind. Interesting little graphical effect. Even though I'm not standing in the field, you can see I've got this blue outline against my character where it overlaps. Now, you could regard that as a graphical bug. It's certainly a little distracting. This appears to be an office of some kind. I assume it's intended as a set for role players. Certainly there's no functionality to it at present. And moving on round, we have the first... well, it's not really the first hint, Cryptic have got form in this regard, that there will be various featured projects, but listen to the audio. Yeah, it sounds as though there is some sort of water feature buried under this wall here, and again, I suspect Cryptic have done the work and put the assets in, and they've just buried them beneath the embassy and just haven't buried them far enough, because we can still hear it. Of course, it might also be that we're going to have fountains here, and here on these plinths. But, maybe. Interesting little bug here. You can see the weird lighting going on. Again, I suspect there is meant to be something that goes there that will be unlocked by a feature project, and Cryptic just haven't done a very good job of camouflaging it. This room, I have no idea what it is meant to be. I mean, it would be great if that glass wall there turned into either an overview of the lobby, given where we are, or else a colossal situation display for New Romulus. Certainly give this room the kind of epic feel that it presently lacks. Alright. Lacks, maybe, maybe not. Some of these concrete textures are very obviously basic. And I also have to note that that platform's a reuse from... well, it's a generic set element, isn't it? But against that, it's still more impressive than the Starbase Operations room. Through the next privacy field, down the hallway. Again, we can hear that water feature. Actually, you know what? Looking at the layout of this staircase... No, there's not enough room for it to go directly here, is there? And besides, it's an odd place to put a fountain at the best of times. It's probably just going to go into the lobby, but it does need a tweak. Heading on round, we have what appears to be a dining room stroke replimat area. Again, bare bones at the moment, pretty much non-functional. I'm assuming that we will get options for chefs and such like as embassy progression continues. In fact, diplomacy 2, 3. You know, I am starting to wonder because there's no mention of it here, is there? Curious. Perhaps they just intended it to be used as a set for role players. If so, that would be a nice bit of accommodation, but functionality would be welcome. On to operations, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is what the Starfleet, or rather Starbase Operations room, should have looked like. Yes, add some consoles along each of these tiers, so you can have the crew working, master situation hologram in the middle there, and you have a suitably epic Starbase control room, so... what's it doing in the embassy? Well, missed opportunity. It's a shame, really. That has the potential, once it's fully in-staffed and up, to be a completely epic set. I just wish they'd come up with it 6 months ago. And don't ask me what the tailoring service is doing in here. That's the kind of thing you would expect to see, if not in the lobby, then certainly in the dining room, or off in its own little area. Maybe that disused office to the right. However, that, to my mind, is one of the highlights of the embassy set. Another thing that's fairly impressive is the shuttle bay, because, you know what, it actually looks like a shuttle bay. You have a roof hangar, various, well, shuttles dotted around, and unlike the rest of the embassy, it has a functional, yeah, this is a working environment look. Although, not sure about the lighting. In addition, we have the first part of the consumables. Yep, another bug there. There's no avatar for the vendor console. But on the ground, we have psionic pacifiers, which are essentially confuse in a can. 4 to 8 seconds, depending on how much fleet credit you want to buy. Psionic agitators operate the reverse. Does exactly what it says on the tin, makes you more likely to be a threat. Now that's going to be interesting because aggro has never been wildly clear in Star Trek Online. There's always been a certain feeling that the threat control skills were broken. Evidently this is Cryptic's attempt to say, you know what, hey guys, they aren't, and here's how we're going to prove it. You can switch tanky threat levels on and off depending on your role, which is a fairly nice way to take it. Another interesting development are the ultra-rare science consoles. This is what we get. Now, they've gone a little too far with the length of the names. So, we have weapon signature nullifiers, which reduce your threat, and generally carry some extra bonuses. So you can have hull repairing ones that have a heal proc. Not very much, mind you. 250 hull, 2.5% chance per hit. Various other bonuses you can get, so inertial dampers, etc. We also have signature amplifiers, like so, which up your threat generation quite considerably, I would add. Cryptic have obviously decided to push threat as a mechanic in Season 7, so I imagine that these are going to become very, very desirable bits of gear, and we may very well see STFs and group missions coming in that almost rely on having, yes, this guy is a tank, and the rest of you guys aren't. And again, we have various varieties, Mark 10, 11 and 12 versions thereof. And there are rather a lot of them. So I have to note to Cryptic, can we please have this window resizable, or can you please find a way to make these names just a little bit shorter? However, interestingly, there are plasma generating ones, so extra plasma damage, but curiously, they don't have alternatives. Now, I have to wonder if that's partly the Romulan theme to this whole season, or if Cryptic are saying, well, hey, if you want to be a good tank, go plasma. If you want straight damage, go anti-proton, as has been tradition for some time now. And if you're going for utilities or flavour builds, well, you've got the various other types. Another point here is the reflections in the shuttle bay. Now, it's not calculating the reflection on the fly, as you can see. It's not reflecting Yuzral here, despite my bouncing up and down in front of it. You can also see that it's kind of reflecting the shuttles, but it's not doing it as you'd expect. For one thing, the reflections are far larger. As I understand, that is actually a known bug. But of interest is that if you go over to the other side, you're getting the same image. So I'm not sure what trick of texturing Cryptic are using to get that reflection effect in, but it's not quite nailed down, which is a bit of a shame because it's an innovative way of doing it to save on processing power, but just needs, if nothing else, a little scale tweak, which in fairness to Cryptic they've said they know about and will be fixing, and a little more sensitivity to where you're actually standing in the bay. So passing another texture in for that set of reflective surfaces here where you shouldn't be able to see the shuttles. We also have some ground equipment. So, various kits here. Tactical Fireteam Specialist. Plasma Grenade 4. Interesting. Fabrication Specialist. These are all very, very shiny. So you get 3. So you get Fab Specialist. So turret level 4. Medical generators level 3. Mortar level 3. I can see a few people going for the bunker kit over that one anyway, purely for the force field dome, but yeah. And of course xenobiology, if you're a healer, that is, well, it's not great as a healing kit, but it's not too bad. Stasis field 4, fragile hold for 12 seconds. Given how trigger happy AI mobs tend to be, I'm not sure it'll ever last the full 12. And of course tacticals, you get Plasma 4, Suppressing 3, Battle Strategies 3, Motion Accelerator 2, well I suppose that's useful for crossing open ground in a hurry. So, not too shabby for an early version. That said, Cryptica's saying, or at least implying, that they're going to be pushing this out come November. And unless they're going for late November, and I mean the last week of November by that, then I have my doubts as to whether this is going to be sufficiently ready and sufficiently polished in time. It's a nagging feel about the whole season at the moment, to be frank. Those of you who've seen my videos on the Taudewa block will have noticed that a lot of the missions are straight cut and pastes, and that I'm not wildly enthused about that. But so be it. After all, Cryptic can always push it back, and if they turn around and say, you know what guys, this is okay, we could publish, but we want to polish it up and get it good, or even excellent, so we're going to hold it for a week or two, I honestly don't think anybody would blame them. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Tribble Time Warp and the Basic Federation Embassy. I'll see you next time.